So we're super excited. OTAs, Bears OTA second week is in the books. Friday practice, a rare one as it be, was a lot better, Vicky. We have some good news to honestly report on, which is really, really exciting. Something that we did not get last week, which was fun. Honestly, last week was kind of fun. I wouldn't take it for anything. This is the ups and downs of a rookie quarterback, a new offense, a new offensive coordinator, and everything like that. But start off the bat, Vicky. Caleb Williams, he had a fantastic day. He was cooking out there. I wanted to start with you on your overall thoughts on Caleb Williams on his Friday OTA, and then we'll kind of get into the details of it all.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from a high level, like the man balled out, at least in 7-on-7s. I think he had kind of a mixed review type of day with the 11-on-11s. But, you know, again, we have to kind of start out with this asterisks here with knowing, like, first off, this is a rookie quarterback and there's a lot of people missing from practice. So, you know, he did ball out on 7-on-7s, but I think like Kyler Gordon was missing. I like most of the secondary. I know Bayard was missing. JJ maybe. Yeah, we'll go through the full list, but
yeah, we'll get to that here in a little bit.
Yeah, he looked good though. So which is positive. Like, I'm not going to be upset about it. But again, like if we're talking about like a meter of like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to run through a brick wall, or like I'm the other way where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to jump ship because it's going horrible. Maybe it's a tick in the positive, which is fine. You know what I mean? And I think the real gauge where like I'll start to maybe freak out a little bit more or be even more hype is when we get to training camp, because people are there. Who he's going to be working with is there. He's had enough. He's probably gotten his second install by that point. He should be a little bit more accustomed to the playbook, you know what I mean? And be a little bit more locked in. But again, there's so much learning right now. And then what sucks too is we only see like one day a week, you know what I mean? But they had 3 OTA practices this week. And like last week there was 3 and you only see one. So it's kind of hard to really gauge. But overall,
one a week, but
social media be happy about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, the good news is mandatory minicamp is going to be here next week, which will be obviously it's not voluntary. Everyone has to be there. That's what you like. I think there's a possibility to be fined if you're not. Caleb Williams, I said we'll touch on, as far as the details of how he performed today, but you kind of alluded to who was there, who wasn't. And the Bears defense, there were some key players missing. That obviously is the truth. So during the 7-on-7 period, the following defensive players were on the field. So Tyreek Stevenson, Terrell Smith, Elijah Hicks, Jonathan Owens, Jack Sanborn, Tremaine Edmonds, Noah Swell. So now, obviously, a lot of players, like you said, are missing from that secondary, the one that were barking, obviously talking trash, very, very confident group. That includes, obviously, Montez Sweat was not there again, Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, Jaquan Brisker, Kevin Byard, among others who are not there. Also, on the offensive side, Keenan Allen was not there. Odunze was full practice, full go, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. But back to Caleb Williams, and I mean, to say he bounced back was an understatement. He went during these 7-on-7 drills, Vicky. He was some say 13, some say 14 of 15. So
we'll take.
I'm gonna go 13 of 15. This one was kind of confirmed by a couple people, including Adam Johns. But he made several excellent throws, including a touchdown to DJ Moore. He also had a quick over the middle to his good friend Johnson. What's his name? Pulled up here from his college days. They signed him, John Jackson III.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, they just signed him for a UDFA, undrafted free agent, right? Yeah.
But he had a really nice play. They actually posted this one, I believe, on their Instagram, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they just signed him too, and that's his boy. So,
John Jackson III. Yeah, he made a play over the middle that Caleb Williams obviously found him. But yeah, it's a fact that he went 13 of 15. He also led a game-winning drive that ended with a Cario Santos game-winning field goal to put the Bears offense ahead. Obviously, the Bears were missing some key players. Matt Eberflus also spoke about what he saw out there, but he was kind of, to be honest, he was a little I don't think he was pretty even keel for the most part, but he did say that the OTA was good. He also mentioned that Williams' footwork has improved, which is a keynote, which I already thought it was vastly better than our previous guy, and Mitch. So overall, just a really good Friday for the Bears offense. And I know there's a lot of people that were excited at first. Then you hear about all the studs, all the stars, the starters that are missing from this Bears secondary that are going to be a pain in the ass throughout Hard Knocks, which we'll get to later. But for me, this is what Caleb Williams was supposed to do and what he needed to do. Because could you imagine, Vicky, if
I don't want to.
Sports are same as last week where they struggled, he couldn't move the ball. Had one incompletion last week or something like that, or one completion.
Yeah. And
for me, if it was the opposite, then we have, I don't know, maybe not, red alert or anything like that, but it would just be, that would be disheartening. I think that's a good word right there. It would be disheartening because are you serious? You can't light up.
That's fair though. Like I from a fan perspective, we'd be freaking out a little bit just because we've only, like I said, we only get one day of like information, and if we find out that both days just happen to be garbage, it's not going to go well over for us. But the defense had 3 starters in, Tremaine and Tyreek. So it is what it is. But the passes did look good. He was connecting, so I think what we want to see is that he should have done what he's supposed to do, and he did. So he checked the box. That's it. You know what I mean? And if we can just keep getting those boxes checked and we're just like, okay, there's nothing to worry about, I think it'll keep us fans in a good headspace. I mean, I'm sure in the building, they're totally fine. I doubt any of the coaches are worried about it. And we talk about this all the time. If there's a time you're going to mess up, this is the time to do it. Right? Because you're learning so much. And you know what? Come week 1, week 2, the first couple of weeks, Caleb's going to mess up. It's going to happen, right? You hope he goes in that Jordan Love path where it's like by week 10, you're kind of in a groove. You know what I mean? You know the offense pretty well, or whenever the bye week is. I think that's week 8, right? Right after London and week 7. So like by that point, you kind of get in a groove and you take off. But there's going to be some bumps along the way, and that's just expected. He's a rookie quarterback. So, but yeah, it's great to see clips like this. Like keep feeding us Caleb to roam. Like I could watch that all day, so just look, just delivering dots, man. Like it is good to see. I think the good thing though is the Bears are putting out like the best clips of him. Like they had the one that was to DJ yesterday where he like kind of threw it right in the bucket.
That was the one to Rome.
Oh, Rome. Yes, right.
Today
Rome,
was
the late hands. Yeah. And then he did the one to DJ across the middle.
Which is this one right here.
Again, take it for a grain of salt because, Fields made some beautiful passes as well last offseason. But we'll have to see.
I don't. And apparently right here when DJ was celebrating, which isn't shown on this clip, DJ is actually looking back at Caleb here, and he is doing the exact same thing. Basically, both doing that awesome celebration, which is pretty cool. I thought was a fun little nugget there. But I love this play here. Obviously, it is OTA. This is what it's all about. You want to see, stuff like this.
Yeah. I mean, what else do we have right now? You know what I mean? We have to. If we were to get nothing, what do we talk about? There's because remember what we went before the last pod. There was like 4 days and there was literally absolutely no news. And like the ongoing joke on Bears Twitter was like, everyone's just dying to figure out what the heck's going on, whether it's good or bad. So, it's that part of the off season where we need to see something to get excited about. And thankfully there's some exciting clips to talk about and reports, because the reports are more important because people are literally there. The Bears can pick this clip, that clip, and only show that, but we're getting a full picture. So what's important is, I think, is how many of these do we see stacked up, right? Like through this offseason. Because if you remember, maybe not so much with Fields, like we did see it with Fields, but if you remember the Mitch regime, there were so many times where it was like, yeah, today was not a good day of offensive practice. The offense didn't show up again. You know what I mean? Like it just wasn't there, right? So today we have one where it's like the offense wasn't the best, and then we have one where the offense was. Like, what do we see next time? Yeah, I think that'll be important. See how many of those to kind of get a glimpse of like how well this offense is clicking, or vice versa.
Yeah, it's all about stacking. Making sure I wasn't muted there. It's all about stacking days, building chemistry at this point. We all know that it's going to take some time. And right now, I just want to, you want to hear positivity, but at the same time, I mean, Caleb Williams, he put it on himself, honestly, and I'm going to hold him to his own standard, where he said he wants to break CJ Stroud's rookie season. Like, he wants to do better, and obviously that's the confidence. That's what we love about him, his persona, his that superstar mentality, and his desire to be great. Like that, I don't ever want that to change. So for me, I know it is kind of weird to be like, have these expectations where I want him to dominate practices like in a row consistently. And I like you said early on, I think there's going to be times. Well, there will be. I guarantee it. There's going to be times where this defense, as good as it is, top 5 even, depending on. I mean, honestly, as far as expectations go, they are going to be a group that should be in the top 5. And I think they all consider themselves in that same boat. You talk to Montez Sweat, you talk to Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, even Kyler Gordon. You look at the linebacker duos, including even Jack Sanborn. So for me, with the rise of Javon Dexter, you see him at camp, how big he is. I just think the expectations for Caleb are fair because he puts that on himself, as far as what he wants to do. So I think today, where it's like, yeah, sure, they're missing some guys, but like that's what you want to see. Now we have minicamp, mandatory minicamp, where everyone's going to have to be there. Everyone's going to have to show up, which, I mean, this is a tight group. Matt Eberflus alluded to, and Ryan Poles talked about how everyone's bought in. I mean, they have hard knocks coming. So, I mean, they're going to get as many reps in probably and try to get ready for all these cameras that are going to be here probably sooner. I mean, the show debuts, the 6th of August. So they're going to be here probably mid-June, prepping, getting these guys ready. So anyways, some more clips here from practice. I think this one's from Rome Odunze, or from Caleb to Rome, which I love to see Rome out there. Look at him.
Quick throw.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what you see with a lot of these highlights with Caleb, is his release is
so quick. Even
in slow-mo, when the Bears put out those highlight videos where it's slow motion, it looks crisp, man. It looks good. And I hate to do it where you have to compare it to Justin, but it's like he was the most recent guy. If it was Trubisky, I would do the same thing.
Hey, so say I want to bring up this comment because that was a perfect segue. Look, Hendricks
I didn't even see it.
Said still finding a way to talk about Justin Fields, puke emoji. He's gone and never coming back. Look, we're not talking about him in the light of like, oh my gosh, we want, like, we're not talking about Fields and like the sadness of like what went down with Fields. He's the last quarterback. So you have to compare this quarterback to something. We talked about Mitch. Mitch has been gone for a minute, but we have to compare. I think that's fair. It's not like we're talking about Justin Fields in the way of like, why isn't he back here, or how the situation went. You got to compare this quarterback to the recent quarterback. Every team does that. You know what I mean?
Well, you don't have to, but I think when it comes to camp, you kind of do, because you're not going off like when the season starts. I don't think you're going to see those comparisons as much as often, but like, because you're just going to be, the season's here. Every week's going to be different. There's going to be new information. There's going to be new issues, problems to solve, probably, critiques on Caleb's side, but hopefully more highlights than that. But for me right now, where it is so early on, you're looking at these differences. You're looking at the early differences. Like right now, footwork, another big thing with Justin. We'll talk about Justin Fields right now, but there was a clip out of Pittsburgh about him going back to his college footwork, where the Bears were kind of making him do something completely different as soon as he got in the league. So the last 3 years, he's been a changed man, a changed quarterback as far as his footwork goes. And now he's back to what he was doing at Ohio State, I think probably even high school. And so now you come into, which isn't a bad thing, but now you got Caleb, where it's almost, Flus highlighted it today, unprovoked, talking about his improvement, and then highlighted his footwork is improving already. And even though it was already a good spot, I think it's really cool to see just those subtle differences. Of course, we're going to have to see it in the game, and probably it's going to have to, the production's going to have to be there. That's what we all expect when it comes to this